Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the M20A1 Whalegun Anti-Tank Rifle mod, which is being released by user The Sixth Messenger. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is an absolutely amazing new anti-tank rifle for you to enjoy. And I love this thing because it's kind of a little bit out there, but I also kind of love it, as it's actually meant to be an in-universe pre-war weapon creation. And the sort of lore behind it that the mod maker did create is that as power armor and robots started being seen more and more on the battlefield in the pre-war era, they needed some sort of stopgap weaponry to take care of them. And, well, they already had anti-tank 20mm autocannons, so why not put one of those 20mm autocannons in a rifle stock? And then you can take out power armor and robots to your heart's content with it. And I love that idea. Who needs a 50 cal when you've got 20 freaking millimeters? That's just wonderful. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the anti-tank rifle, which in its most basic and standard form will do 150 damage with a 20mm AC round with a firing rate of 4, range of 179, accuracy of 74, and a very, very hefty weight of 26.5. Remember, this thing is an autocannon put on a rifle stock. It's gonna be heavy. And as you can see here, it's a pretty good looking rifle. I actually really do like this thing. In just its standard form, it already looks good because, well, you guys know me, I enjoy a gun that has a mix of metal and wood, and in its most standard form, that's what you get. But of course, there are many other, alternative textures you can get for the main body of the gun. And with all the different modifications, oh boy, you can really make this thing look like a very, very dangerous and deadly autocannon. And I love it. It is great. And I mean, just also the chunky size of this barrel. I mean, again, it's not 50 caliber. This is 20mm autocannon rounds. These things are huge. The whole point of the 20mm is that it's basically like the smallest size of round that you can put an explosive into that's useful. Anything smaller than that, it's not going to be much of a boom, but 20mm, oh, it's going to give you that boom. And with the different ammunitions you can put into this thing, oh, you can get that boom. And it's great. I really, really do enjoy this thing. It is fun. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these lovely things, God, look how gigantic you can make it. It's great. But it's pretty simple. First and foremost, you are going to need some DLC requirements, and those are Automatron, Far Harbor, and Nuka World. Now, this does also have compatibility for a few other mods like munitions, but they are not necessary. The only ones you need are those DLCs. Now, with those installed, oh boy, there's a lot of places you can find this thing. First and foremost, you can find them just scattered in the world at different military facilities, such as the National Training Yard or Fort Hagen, as well as others. So basically anywhere that's a military installation, you're probably going to find one. Operators in Nuka World will also have these immediately. So, yeah, if you want one quick, just go take one from an operator. After that, though, you'll start seeing them spawn in the world on trappers at level 25, and gunners and Brotherhood of Steel at level 30, and finally, the Minutemen get them at level 40, which is strange, but okay. And along with all of that, you will also see these things in vendors as well as in the legendary loot list table. So you might find a legendary enemy out there with one of these gigantic guns looking to kill you, which is Both terrifying but awesome. I really do like it. So yeah, kind of complicated, but hey, if you want one quick, go to either a military base or take one from an operator. Now, as for the modifications on this thing, we've got quite a good list of stuff. Starting at the receiver category, what's pretty typical things from the standard to tuned all the way on up to the overpowered receiver, which is pretty darn good, dealing a 337 damage there, and we can make that go up even higher with other modifications. Now, next to the barrel category, we've got a stub, short, and a long barrel, and you can also get these, at least the stub in short, and the long here too, in light versions, and we even have a sniper barrel here as well with a light sniper version too, which, boy, look at that range that adds on to. Oh, 455. Lovely. Now in the stock category, a pretty small one here. We just have the full marksman and recoil compensating. I think the marksman personally looks the best, but hey, that's just my opinion. And then the magazine, we've got a standard and large magazine, and then of course quick eject versions of both of those. Now, then on the sights, we've got a pretty good list of stuff here, starting with iron sights, glow sights, reflex sights of a couple of different varieties. We then have a number of standard scopes in different magnifications, which is great. And then we also have the same for night vision as well as recon scopes. You can get those in a number of different, magnifications there for whatever range you're looking to shoot at. And then the muzzle, we've either got nothing, a compensator, muzzle brake, advanced muzzle brake, and a suppressor on a 20mm autocannon, and that's ridiculous, and I love it. And then we have the ammo category where we can really up the damage of some things. The standard is, of course, the just armor-piercing round, but we can also go with depleted uranium, which is also going to add a lot of radiation damage, and you can also go with high explosive, which is going to up the damage, but from the standard, but it's actually going to reduce it overall compared to like the armor piercing. Like fully kitted out with the highest receiver, armor piercing is actually going to be more damage than the highest receiver with the high explosive, but you get that splash damage. So that's sort of the trade-off for the two. And then finally, well, not quite finally, we've got two more things here. We've got the bipod, where either no bipod, extended, or folded. And now, finally, because I forgot about the bipod category a moment ago, is our different paint schemes. So we have the standard wood here. We also have some other easy-to-get woods like light wood and redwood, as well as just some different paint schemes for, well, more polymer-esque stuff, like Sacred Iron, the Green Meanie, Desert Storm here, Tactical Black, and finally, the Gray. So nice to have a lot of fun, different options to make the gun feel a bit more your personal style. Me, though, I'll stick with that glorious, glorious wood. It's just magnificent. And so, yeah, that is the different modifications available. So let me go grab my modified guns, and let's see how this thing does shoot. Now, even in the most heavily modified versions, this is always going to be a pretty slow gun, but it's the trade-off of the speed for, well, the just gigantic amounts of power. Which, almost forgot something before we shoot. You may be wondering how you get some of those different ammunitions. We do have, of course, depleted uranium and high explosive, along with the regular armor piercing. Well, you can go to any chemistry station in the world, and we now have a 20mm autocannon category where we can make those different autocannon rounds in here, so long as you got the correct perk as well as the correct requirements. And you'll notice we've got a few more options in here than what I had available at the workbench, and that is because some of the in the world ones at military bases actually have their own unique legendaries to them. So yes, you do have a few other kinds of rounds that you could potentially get from those legendary variants, which is pretty neat. But yes, overall though, the three main ones here, the armor piercing, depleted uranium, and explosive, just easy to make right there, which is always nice. Now we can pull this thing out and fire. So let's take a shot. Oh, forgot to reload. Oh, forgot to do that after testing earlier. And I also just realized I must still be in God mode from things I was doing. There we go. Now we can actually use each bullet properly. Wonderful. Oh, sometimes I do forget to reset things after testing and setting up, but there we are. 3 rounds in the just standard magazine, so not a lot, but, you know, not too shabby. And again, with the power of this thing, 3 rounds is probably all you'll need, especially when you've upgraded. Well, let's actually go to our marksman one with the depleted uranium rounds, which is so big it can't actually fit in the whole screen here. I love how gigantic this thing is. Just look at that barrel. It's wonderful. And dealing 337 physical damage now, along with 130 radiation damage with that depleted uranium. Good times. And fire. And there we go, and I was even off to the side on a couple of those, but it still hit because, well, big round. Big round. But yeah, this thing is pretty freaking great. And I do love that the depleted uranium round actually does have kind of that green particle effect when it hits, which, you know, just a nifty little thing that I do enjoy. Now, finally, I've got my suppressed overpowered anti-tank one with the high explosive rounds, which for some reason I decided to do a stub barrel because why not? It's a hip fire gun. Well, I mean, not really. I do have a reflex sight, but fire. And there we go. Oh, even with how slow that gun is, when you have a weapon that is firing high explosive rounds doing splash damage, well, that's just a fun time. And definitely not something you're going to want to be if you're on the enemy side of things. That's just, oh, just inevitable death. So let's take a look at this thing against an enemy and spawn in our usual Deathclaw friend here, who I'm assuming is not going to last long. Let's try the explosive first. Oh, good shot. Good shot, and 3, and he's down. Perfect. Which, man, that suppressor really hasn't changed the sound much, has it? Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, let's just go back over this one real quick. Okay, yeah, no, never mind, never mind. It is definitely changing the sound a bit, but I mean, 20mm autocannon round. Yeah, not a lot, but still amusing to have a suppressor on those guns. But alright, let's grab another one and use the depleted uranium. And I'm gonna need you to go away a little bit. Oh, please. Okay, oh god, one shot and he's almost already dead. Had it been a good solid belly shot, it probably would have killed him in one. Nice. Instead, I got him in 2. And that is still a wonderful thing. So yeah, this is the M20A1 Whalegun Anti-Tank Rifle. This thing is pretty great. Again, I just love the idea of, hey, we need more armor-piercing weapons now that power armor's a thing, and we already have this 20mm autocannon. Let's just make it into a rifle. That's just magnificent, and very much a Fallout kind of thing that they would do. And it just is a fun weapon, has a great kick to it, great chunk to the sound, and just overall is very entertaining to play with, even in its lighter, more standard, not as damaging form. But man, you add in those high explosive rounds and it's just beautiful. So if you'd like to take a look at this weapon for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you have a look at the link in the description of the video, as per usual. Well, that, my friends, is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for whatever weapon mod, or, well, any mod we look at next. But until that time, thank you for watching, as always. Well, have a good one.